Well, g'day folks, it's Ando from Boss Outdoor with this week's fishing report. And this week, it's all about those yummy flatties.
Hey, not wrong, mate. Have a look at that. A couple of, I don't know, 45 centimetre jobs. They are everywhere around here.
So if you want to chase those flatties this weekend, guys, you want to punch straight out to 55 metres. And if you find yourself out in about 55 metres, guys, drifting around, you're going to encounter some beautiful flathead like this. Absolute beast of a sand flathead. There's some bloody good fillets there, guys. Yum. And amongst those beautiful big sand flathead, guys, there's some terrific tiger flathead out there as well. Look at the size of the fillets on that thing. The box is looking good. 61 centimetre sandy, and he's high 50s as a tiger. That's just fantastic. You want to get out over the weekend and get into this flatty action. It is red hot, 55 metres off Long Point. So a few tech specs on how we were catching those flathead earlier in the week, guys. Leaf and I were using paternoster rigs, and yes, hitting that 55 metres in depth. That's where you're going to find a better class of fish, guys, so it's worth going out there. You're going to need a lump of lead to hit the bottom out there, so 8 ounces, maybe even 10 ounces, depending on the drift and the wind. It was pretty good earlier in the week, so we were just getting away with an 8 ounce lead. However, if you're bombing 2 baits down, you want to make sure they're on the bottom, because that's where the fish are, guys. Straight off Long Point, 55 metres, get on it. So a few other species out amongst the reefs to catch too, guys. Still plenty of snapper around, although the snapper have quietened off a little bit around Merimbula. The water's gone a real funny colour. I'm tipping some warmer currents are coming down, and on those currents, Leaf's going to talk a little bit about the tuna fishing coming up soon too. So I hang around for that one. But as far as the snapper go, Eden's fishing a lot better, and particularly way up in the deep, guys. I am hearing reports of over 100 metres, so 100 to 130 metres, big snapper, guys. So if you're adventurous, maybe give that a shot. Heaps of mowies around, nanagai, and the local reefs here off the Horseshoe have been producing a few gummy sharks as well. So the offshore fishing's starting to warm up, it's looking good. But those big snapper we were seeing on soft plastics a few months ago, they just have, they've tamed down a little bit, so you're probably going back to more run-of-the-mill size snapper, around that 40 to 50 centimetres, but hey, there's nothing wrong with those, guys. Another thing you're likely to encounter this time of year too, with the currents starting to shift and the water temp on the rise, there's a couple of big mako sharks. There's already been a few reported out off Haycock, so if you're out there drifting around, it's probably worth having a live bait out the back, maybe a bit of chum, and you just never know your luck. You might tangle with one of those big blue makos. Sensational things to catch. So I mentioned it was all going to be about flatties this week. Well, you don't have to go offshore to get flatties, guys. Catch them right here in the lake. Merimbula Top Lake, absolutely firing at the moment. There are so many flatties coming out of there, and big fish too. Ian Smith's been getting some absolute crackers. Check these out for flatties. There's a lot of good sized ones around that you want to eat as well, so that 45 centimetre range, there's plenty of those. You're going to have to get out in the boat, maybe hire a tinny, or if you've got a boat, get out in the top lake and fish those drop-offs around the edges. That's where you're going to find those fish. A lot of the fish are coming on paddle tail soft plastics, guys, so if you've got something in that 4-inch range with a paddle tail, you're in the market. Right here behind me, gateway to the boardwalk. So many opportunities for the shore-based angler along this stretch, guys. You can catch brim and trevally right here behind me. You can also get flathead on this sandbar just behind the fisheries office. But as you walk up along the boardwalk, you can jump out on the flats and catch some whiting. There have been some whiting around, so it's looking good for the estuary, guys. Maybe kick the shoes off and go for a wade and see what you can find. So for those guys chasing some trevally, heaps of trevally here at the bridge and down the main channel towards Bar Beach, guys. And I've heard they're upwards of 40 centimetres, so finally getting a bit of trevor action in the channel. Who doesn't love that? A few brim around too, guys. Brim in the main channel and up in the top lake. Some of the young guns have been getting them on soft plastic grubs up in the back of the top lake, so not all about the flatties up there at the moment, guys. There are some brim around too. And if you're chasing some luderick this weekend, guys, a good spot to try is right here at the road bridge, right from the corner on the fish pen side over to the main channel. Suspend a little bit of green weed under a float, and you never know your luck. You could catch a few luderick right here. So the beach fishing's still good, guys. However, main beach, a lot of weed. You're going to get snagged up if you're fishing in front of Fort Oval at the moment. So probably want to head down towards Merimbula end, guys. The gutters are a lot cleaner down there, or up at Estuary. If you're fishing the Merimbula platform, aka the wharf, you can get salmon off there, tailor, early in the morning. I haven't heard any kingfish action yet, but look, it's only a matter of time before they show up, so it's worth having a live bait under a float. There are some squid being caught off the wharf, and there's some drummer from around the rock platforms. Just make sure the swell's not too bad if you're going rock fishing, guys. So if you're trout fishing this weekend, guys, my suggestion would be go to Buckandera. That arm is fishing awesome. Bryson Green went up there last weekend and absolutely donged the brown trout. He was trolling lures in about 5 meters and got some awesome fish. If you want a more informative freshwater fishing report, why don't you check out our Canberra team's fishing report. They do a sensational report, and the guys have got their finger on the pulse. They know exactly what's biting, where it's biting, and maybe even go and talk to Nath. He could hook you up with a brand new combo. Okay guys, Leaf has some interesting information about those ocean currents, and I hear there's a few inshore you'll look into.
So I think the tricky bit this week is going to be just to find that window of weather to when you can get out. It looks like there's going to be a few gaps in the weather and some nice mornings, so hopefully we can find some of those close yellowfin so we don't have to spend all day out there. We have seen a couple caught in the last week or so. So sort of around that 120 metres of water I reckon is going to be the money between Merimbula and Tathra. We'll put some GPS coordinates up. I reckon if we zigzag between sort of Merimbula and Tathra on that line, about that 120 metre, there's going to be some fish caught. There's a little bit of a temp change. The water seems to be pushing in quite nice. I think it's going to be good. And worst case scenario, if it's not good at this time of year, the whales are so good out there.
How good's our Sapphire Coast, guys? It's no wonder everybody comes to us to visit and spend their holiday time. We've got a beautiful stretch of coastline, and it plays host to all our migrating whales. And right now there are so many whales in the bay, it's just a spectacular sight to see. Grab a set of binoculars, get out on the headlands and check them out. Or if you want to get up close and personal, book a tour with Sapphire Coastal Adventures. They'll put you right on top of these beautiful creatures, and they are a spectacular sight. For this week's Fishing Report Deal of the Week, come in and buy 3 packets of the Z-Man diesel minnows and we'll shout you the 4th free. And I do hear a sneaky little secret that Smitty's been getting these flatties on these plackies. Well, that's it for this week's Fishing Report, guys. If there's anything else you need to know, whether it be about bait, lures, or where to find those beautiful flatties, come into Boss Outdoor so we can hook you up.